Hello, Cheryl here, the No Sugar Coach. Today is day 67 of my carnivore experiment. I skipped a day yesterday. I completely forgot to do a video recording. My apologies. Oh well, life goes on. So most of the videos that I record are actually inspired by my clients and by viewers like you. And I love that I can answer your questions. And as I often mention, I'm not a doctor, but I do go look for answers and I dig down to make sure that what I share with you is actually accurate. Now, the latest question is about plantar fasciitis. And if you've never experienced plantar fasciitis, consider yourself lucky. Now, pretend my hand is a foot in profile. The condition affects the thick band of tissue that runs along the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia, which connects the heel bone to the toes. So one of my newsletter subscribers named Jillian told me a story about one day waking up with a lot of pain. It was near the heel of her foot, and it came out of nowhere. As she had not had an injury, it just came on suddenly, and it was particularly worse when she first got out of bed. She couldn't put any pressure on it, but after a few steps, it got, somewhat better. It seemed to loosen up a bit. And she noticed, though, that during the day, if she sat for long periods of time or if she had to stand for long periods of time, the pain came back in the same spot. So, of course, she saw her family doctor who diagnosed it as plantar fasciitis. So she went for physiotherapy naturally, and she did all the recommended stretches and other exercises, but it never went away completely. So she just kind of resigned herself to having to deal with it, for the long term. But then she started the carnivore diet. After a little over a month of just eating assorted meats and eggs, the pain went away. It just disappeared. So did the carnivore diet help with the condition, or was it just a coincidence or wishful thinking? So she decided to test it out. She went back to her carby diet for a couple of weeks, and the pain came back. You have to love self-experiments. So now she's back on the carnivore diet, and she's feeling much better again. So what's going on? We know the carnivore diet reduces inflammation. Now, we also know that inflammation is part of plantar fasciitis in the early stages. So she had not had the condition for very long, and maybe this accounts for the relief she experienced, no inflammation. But, you have to wonder if the condition had been more advanced and there were degenerative changes or permanent change to the fascia, maybe a carnivore diet wouldn't be as helpful. Who knows? But I'd say it can't hurt to try. So if you're having issues with foot pain like plantar fasciitis, maybe a carnivore diet will be the solution for you. Now, the exact cause of plantar fasciitis is not really completely understood. Some say it's from repetitive stress injuries like running for too much or dancing too much. Others blame flat feet or high arches. And of course, we can't leave out obesity. So now let me add a personal story or personal experience to this story. I too developed plantar fasciitis many, many years ago. And the only thing that made it go away was when I took myself off of the statin medications that my doctor had prescribed for me as a preventative measure about a year earlier. Now we know that statins can cause muscle inflammation, pain, and damage to muscles. It's actually known as statin-associated muscle symptoms, or SAMS, S-A-M-S. You can Google it. Actually, I'll see if I can find an article and put it in the notes below. Now, I'm not saying you should do as I've done. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a nurse. But I talk to my doctor if I were you. See if maybe the pain you're feeling could be related to statin-associated muscle symptoms. Maybe it's not plantar fasciitis. And it can't hurt to look into it. That's it for me today. Let me know what you think. If you need help with the carnivore, keto, or low carb diet, I've provided a link to my contact form below. I've also provided a link to a free guide to how to start the carnivore diet if you're curious. I've added some links to articles about plantar fasciitis in the notes as well. So until tomorrow, eat well, be kind to yourself, and keep a smile on your face. Bye-bye.